All right, welcome back, guys. This is chapter 4. I say welcome back. It's been a week, but we're recording this back to back. I was so hot and bothered, I let my fucking hair down. Oh, yeah, we're gonna get demonetized already. I said already. I dropped the F bomb. Here we go. Who needs money? Who needs money? We have camaraderie.
You
We
would
have
have
I
no
could
money
use
if
some
that
money.
were the case.
Well, that's true. Yeah, all
You
right.
got his
Yeah,
$5 behind you. Yeah.
well, I got that five. I do have your $5 there. Yeah, yeah. So
You do.
chapter
You do.
4 of this lousy book, all right,
Chapter
is called
4.
The Storyteller's Toolbox. Paul, why don't you introduce this? Because this had more complicated depth to it. You wanna
Yeah.
explain what the hell it is?
I'm in there's certain parts of it because it follows chapter 3. And so for those that
Yep.
have not watched the other video, to say that, listen, that
Please watch it. Go back, watch it.
go back,
Yes.
go back and watch that video before you
Those
watch this. But
comes
if you want to understand it,
in on fire.
our
Yeah.
our
And
our, our
subscribe.
context
Like
for this is that in creating your characters, and Joe disagrees with it, which is fine. I like to help people build their characters. If you're doing a campaign, a long campaign, 4 or 5 months or whatever it is,
Call
I
that
like to
long?
go ahead and
You what?
have them build what?
That's not long. That's a mini campaign. That's not even a long
Okay,
campaign.
well, a campaign's a campaign. Doesn't matter. Whatever you define a campaign is, 4, 6 years, 20 years, who cares? So however you're long going to do it, whenever I'm doing it with players like that, which by the way, I'll be honest with you, I've not run a campaign in recent time, for like longer than a month or something like that, with students. I've been doing it with students. So maybe 6 weeks is a campaign to them. But the
Their attention
context
span,
is
that's a very long campaign with their attention span these days.
with their attention span's long. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the context is in chapter 3 of this book, we talked about the fact that, we're helping, I'm helping, or the book is recommending that you help characters develop their characters where they have a flaw or they have a story arc of some kind, something they like to do, right? Something that their character's trying to accomplish, or something in their background. Doesn't have to be a full page type of thing. And then this particular one is giving advice to dungeon masters and game masters to how then to fulfill or pay off on those character arcs.
Yes. Yeah. That's good. Well, good summary. Good summary. And then they get into that on page 116, like the second page of the chapter. So I circled the first thing I circled here. It says, encounter design is plot design. Running an emergent campaign. Now, they have a different definition of emergent campaign, I think, than we do. Their emergent campaign emerges in such a way that you are tracking the character's personality, especially their flaws, so they can overcome these flaws within the campaign. And everything that emerges, the DM is trying to guide along this arc of overcoming flaws so they could be the hero and the person they were meant to be. Whereas an emergent old school campaign is more like you don't figure out what the hell the entire ecology of the forest is until you explored 50% of the hexes, and then what emerges from that is the story of the forest that was developed based on random encounter rolls for each hex. That's an emergent old school hex crawl or emergent campaign, and something along those lines. You can extrapolate that from a hex crawl to an entire world if you want to, not just a woods or something like that, right? Here, what emerges is, as they say, a plot that helps these characters who wrote, a player who wrote a character with flaws, helps them overcome the flaw so that they can become whatever the hell, right? And, be the guy who, like Iron Man, who falls on the grenade at the end of the last movie and sacrifices himself, whereas he was never that guy at the beginning. That's the arc, right? That's what these people are trying to get to. So, yeah, that's the gist of their emerging camp design, right? Does that sound right?
Yeah, and they're in this particular chapter, they're saying, look, here are the elements that you have, right? It goes through the different types of encounters. So when you create these encounters, that's whatever's going to help the character fulfill their arc. Now, once again, I'm not in favor of pre-planned arcs in that sense, right? In other words, you can have goals, right? If I ask a character what your goal is, you can have a goal.
Yes. That's
and
different.
I think, look, if you say, look, I want to, I want to get my land back from this baron who stole it from my family. Okay. That's a point of conflict. And in some ways, that is a built-in arc, because if you're doing a campaign and that's one of their goals within the context of my system, then maybe I want to drop some things in there that will create that tension or create those things that they want to do. So the book then goes through, and I don't agree with once again, depending how you you that are watching today want to do this, if you do this at all, leave a comment, by the way, if you do, that I try to drop some things in that create these moments of tension or these moments of conflict, or
Mhm.
they're going to get them the players motivated, or that what do I want to say, that surprise, right? That maybe I dropped something in that their PC wasn't expecting. Like if they're trying to get land back from that baron, maybe something happens in that where they run across that baron's foot soldiers or mercenaries or something like that. Now there's that instant conflict. So the rest
Yeah.
of the chapter is talking about putting those elements in, so that in the last chapter talk about the arc. I would say it's to fulfill goals, or at least to try to provide opportunities that if they want to do some of those things, then
Yep.
I, as the DM or GM, are putting those moments in to help them, help the PCs, whatever their particular goals or objectives are.
Mhm.
Whether they accomplish them or not is up to them.
Mhm.
But I'm going to put some things in there that are going to create the tension or create some of those things that maybe help them, engage with the world more so than not.
What's your take, Tim?
What was Paul, like what Paul was saying, but a lot of times, like when you guys are doing your exploration, doing or trying to research or do something,
Mhm.
case in point, your person right now, Snickle, he's got a
Yeah.
little bit of a quest going on. It's one of
Yeah.
the few times we've actually had I would almost say plot driven adventure, really, in a long, long time.
Yeah, I have a series of things I need to do.
Yeah, there's a few things that you have to do to get there, but that, even though that is part of it, you've got little Snickle going into these 3 different places that are just could kill him at any moment. You're doing it,
And
and
most
you're
likely
doing
will.
it, and you're doing it because of the other purpose of the arc on top of that.
Yeah.
This is the task. Here's the arc, but it's an arc that's kind of developed organically, that we haven't, I'm going to use bad words. It's
I
yeah. I'm gonna
started.
say
We're already demonetized within 30
no. I was
seconds.
going to
Don't
say
worry about it.
story. I was going to say story.
Oh,
This is
It's a
the story.
5-letter word.
that's even
Yes,
worse.
this is what we decided to focus on. We were going to focus on this. There's a whole campaign world on there, but there's different things that, like, I throw out there that's just in my focus. But then you have to take your focus and decide which one of those you kind of want to put
Yep.
your focus into. Now, just because you focus on one thing doesn't mean another thing won't happen that's outside of that.
Yeah.
But it allows this branch of your story or your character arc or whatever term you want to use to grow, because that's the one we're investing into. And
Yep.
when I was kind of going through the book, I thought the book was I think the book was based too much on encounter stuff. Like they had different types of encounters.
Yeah.
And I understood what they were trying to do there, but I don't think that was the best way to, because there's a lot more for, because what was it called? A toolbox for storytellers, toolbox or something like that. So
Yeah.
I think there could have been better ones, because if they broke it down into basically units of encounters.
That's what they did. Looking at that page, it says encounter design is plot design.
Right.
And again, we get into emergent campaign. They call it emergent campaign. It says running an emergent campaign is simple. And again, I said that before. It's a different type than OSR emergent campaigns.
Yes.
Running an emergent campaign is simple. Devote your game mastering energies towards designing obstacles for your party to overcome that are related to their character arcs. As often as you can, try to create obstacles that engage with 2 or more characters' arcs at the same time. The way this works in practice is simple as well. First bullet point, look at the list of character obstacles and struggles you created in the last chapter, which I never did because it's dumb.
No, that one I don't agree with at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't agree with the way they build it, because
yeah.
because I'm not going to look at Snickle, I'm not going to look at Hobbs and just develop an opponent based off of maybe your flaws or something like that. I mean, if you're going up against a heavy in the Thieves Guild, or if you're going up against some Sarath guard of a temple thing, that's what it's going to be. It doesn't matter what your fucking personality is.
Yeah.
You're going to go up against them. That's the situation. Your character is chosen with somewhat knowledge, and again, that goes to having this try to give them intelligent choices that they can do. That this is going to happen, so that way they can decide whether they want to do it or not. But I'm not going to design it to devote it to as an obstacle towards a flaw. It's just going to be an obstacle to your situation.
So I said, that's it. Yeah.
This is what's happening, and it's not going to be specially designed for anything. If you're going into a crypt of crazy zombie folks and they're running all over crazy, I'm not going to make the zombies, I don't know, sensitive because you want to explore this part of your character or something.
If my character has a phobia of spiders, they're not going to be zombie spiders that I must overcome the phobia of spiders with. Yeah, exactly. Shit like that. Because what it says here, the first bullet point, look at the list of character obstacles and struggles you created in the last chapter. Point 2, consider external obstacles the characters are struggling with, like zombies, I guess, in this situation, or whatever is going on in the world. And point 3, build encounters around those external obstacles and make encounters that combine those external obstacles wherever you can. Think of encounters that involve people, places, and things from multiple external obstacles. And so it's like basically they're saying everything that they encounter, no matter what type of game, when they go through very thoroughly the type of game, the type of game system, the type of world, the type of blah, 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 blah. And so and they give hypotheticals, like if they're, so basically the whole premise is figure out the character arc that they want to do, right? I want to overcome my flaws like this, the hero's journey. And at the end of the day, when I fight the big boss monster at level 20, I suddenly become a fully self-actualized person. Right. That's what they're shooting for here. And you, GM, are here to help me become a fully self-actualized person through this stupid fucking book. Right. So that's what is all the whole purpose of this thing. Now, so Paul, defend that bullshit position, please.
Okay. So if characters, I don't defend all of it because I would not design a game like the way they've said it. Now, if my characters, if the players in my game have goals, okay, I'm going to then I like aha moments in my games. I like aha moments. So if I put something in that's related to their goals, back to the Baron, let's say, or let's take the zombies, and let's say you go into a zombie thing and suddenly you see a bunch of you find the clothes of some people of the land, people that lived in your land, that whatever, that there's some sort of zombie infestation or going on or something like that. So what if I put that in there because I know you're from there, and I put something in there that your character goes, your PC would go, oh, well, that's interesting. What? So for me to drop that in there, to me is not, I'm not trying to help them accomplish an arc as much as I'm trying to help them help put something in there that's maybe goal related to what their PC wants to do. So so I want to put some of these things there. So if I know what their goals are, and even to some degree their flaws, because if their flaw is that they are hot, well, I mean, why play anything if you're not going to have any flaws? If you're a dwarf, you got some flaws. If you're an elf, you have some flaws, because elves are usually considered these kind of arrogant, snobby personality type people. Dwarves are angry, grumpy.
Very racist there, Paul. That's very racist.
I know, right? Well, I should. I'm going to bring this up. I'll tell you after this. I'll tell you something after this that I read. All right. This is from the known world, and I'll share this afterwards. But so I like to have like I said, aha moments. So yeah, I'm going to plant in there and it goes into puzzle encounters, and it goes into planning social encounters and combat encounters and those things. I don't mind as a DM putting aha moments in there that if they align, or if they create tension, or if they do some things that accomplish some of those goals, to me as a player, if my DM's not gonna, why am I playing? I'm like Agreed. Why give me a name? If you're gonna be clinical about it, don't even give me a name. I'm patient 0 then, and I'm
Sure.
just going to
You
run
are
around and I'm going to
you are
steal money
stat
and
block.
kill things.
Yeah.
Don't do anything. So
Yeah.
I want, and that's the, by the way, there's a whole level of the social contract that you have with your players that, look, I want them to come back to the table. So yeah,
Yes.
so if I'm putting these interesting encounters in there that have something to do maybe with their background, right? Something with their that challenges or puts them in a place where their flaw maybe screws them up a little bit, or tests that a little bit, then I'm going to be good with that. But I don't like the way the chapter is designed and how clinical it is in the sense of how it's trying to accomplish everything, which it accomplishes nothing if you're trying to do that, because then it takes away some of that player agency. I'd rather give them the opportunity to screw up than plan it all out for them.
You know, that's funny you mentioned backgrounds, because it reminded me that Joe Block and Eric Tankar and I are doing this new Friday series of videos. This is a slightly pimping that and pimping this at the same time, because Joe came up with the idea of saying, let's do a player's academy, how to be a better player. And so we were starting talking, me and Tim, and then you got in and we're like, let's do that's the RPG Player Academy. Let's do the RPG GM Academy, the Game Masters Academy. That's what this is. It's about how to be a better game master. We're not talking the basics that you would see in the basic 5e, DMG. We got like 125, whatever the hell, plus years experience here, right? We've been doing it a long time. So it's funny you mentioned the whole background thing, because that's what our topic is tomorrow for the players, how to do a player background, right? And so it kind of segues into this a little bit, because what we're talking about, I just kind of shit on player backgrounds in general in tomorrow's video, but what we're talking about here is, I say no backgrounds, you're a nobody for nowhere, you're a filth farmer, but that's the beginning part of negotiation. I'll give you something maybe, but you're not going to come into a game, right, saying, this is a real example. Our friend in college has walks into the bar where you start every campaign, and he says, my sister was kidnapped by orcs, so you must go help me rescue her. And I'm like, fuck you, I ain't gonna fuck you, your sister. I don't give a fuck. Who are you? Fuck your sister. You know what I mean? It was like that. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Why? Just because you said it on a piece of paper, because you are a failed novelist, you want to fucking, or a movie writer, where the fuck you want to actually then bring us along on this goddamn thing that you want to? No, that's not what it's all about. But backgrounds that, the backgrounds that make somebody do something, the whole group do something, that's kind of self-centered. But a goal for a player is a very different thing, especially if you could find a way to interweave the various players' goals.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I'll help you, you help me, right? Like Finkus is helping me, right? In the game, you brought Ken over. Finkus is helping me. I don't know why. Maybe you just needed time. I've been doing too many games. I don't know his in-player reason why he's helping me, but I would imagine that he helps me, I'm going to help him with something, right? Wait, I did help him get laid in the game, so that was good on Ken. All right, bravo. His character got laid in the game. Good deal, Ken. All right, he was he was very happy. He didn't want to. He was low key happy about it, but yeah, he was very happy.
Because Deb was in the other room.
So he was in the other room. I said, and so Tim's like, "Hey, do you want a little nookie up there?" And Ken's like,
"No, I didn't say. I just said, well, yeah, ready to have a good night, Ken?" And he goes, "Yeah."
He couldn't say it too loud. It's wifely here,
right?
So yeah. So Ken's goal to get laid. I helped him get laid. Therefore, he helped me with the sewers. It's good. It's all good.
Well, like you were just saying, but when you guys integrated, so I was running all three of them separately. Paul had a separate game, Joe separate game, and Ken separate game. And I decided my brain could not contain all those games at one time, so I melded Ken and Joe's game together. So I had to integrate kind of because it was your kind of your story that he got integrated to, Joe. So he got into there. So now we're developing branches off of this time from his character, like when he met all those. Well, he met with his people in the bar, and he's learning a whole bunch of stuff that he never would have learned otherwise because he's in there. And using this book or whatever things, it would have been like a social encounter that he did, but I created it so it would have depth to his not only his character, but his whole culture and how it interacts with people. And knowing, like Paul is finding out a lot of this too, is like, even though you're made of the same group, you still got some enemies in the group you belong to. Because Paul's found that out with the Thieves Guild. Yeah. right. That's the thing. Right now, Paul's little world is basically but a 2-block area, you know.
Yeah.
And he's having trouble handling that. Trying to keep track of that.
I'm new at this, Tim. Give me a break. I'm a brand new crew leader.
You are
Bob's
a brand new
the
crew
crew
leader.
Brand new. I'm trying to figure this out.
You know what this is like? It's like when you ever guys have watched The Sopranos, right?
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Remember when Tony was in the hospital and Sal had to take over?
Oh,
Was
yeah.
it Sal, the guy with the guy
Oh,
was in fucking Bruce Springsteen's band? That guy, his name was Sal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
In the
Van
show?
Zandt.
Yeah. Steve Van Zandt.
Yeah. He had to take over, and he was the consigliere, but you realize that a consigliere can never be the boss, at least somebody with his flaws and personality traits and bullshit. He's 3 days in, he's having fucking panic attacks, he's going to the hospital, thinking he's having a heart attack. You couldn't handle the pressure. Sounds like you are such a character there.
My PC is learning. He has to figure things out. I mean, he's surrounded by terrible people who want to do him damage, and I have to maintain all of this. There's a lot going on in a 2-block radius. I just want to tell you, there's a lot going on in a 2-block radius. It's storm, people.
I can imagine. I've tuned into some of your videos. I sit on the deck, and the other night I was sitting there listening and taunting you from the deck as I look at the sunset, and you're dying, getting fucked up in there. I'm like, this is great. I'm watching the sunset, sitting out there smoking a cigar, having a little Vivia here, and Paul's getting through hell. This is fantastic, and I'm taunting from the sidelines.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the book that again, I think they broke it down into those fundamental things. So like more of a newer DM, or maybe a little bit of an experienced DM that plays in their style that they've kind of been writing for is going to help them with developing. So I don't think I really don't think it's a bad chapter. I like it better than the other one. I think this one has more gameable, a lot more gameable material that someone could apply to in a game. I mean, and then because we sometimes have to step back from this, because like I've said this in a lot of our podcasts and a lot of our different things. These books aren't exactly written for us. I mean, we've got a lot of experience. So when we come into it, we're coming with, we'll just say 40 years of experience. I'm not saying that's a grade of anything, because I learn new stuff from new people all the time. I'm never shutting my ears off to that. But sometimes I'll read something, I'm like, well, that seems sort of elementary. Yeah, it is to me, but this isn't written for me. This is written maybe for the second year game master who's learning how to do it, or someone who is just interested in doing it. Like I've had 2 people recently just kind of contact me because they've never run a game and they're interested in starting to run a game. And they didn't know where they should start. I said, start with a friend you like or don't like, and draw a map and start torturing them. It's
funny. It came up on Twitter today, believe it or not. I'm there once in a while. I was scrolling through, and it says, there was a poll from a guy named Frothy Fryer. Good name, by the way. Frothy Fryer.
Okay.
And he had a 4-question poll. He says, you're starting a new character. What's the first thing you do? 1, roll stats, 32%. 2, pick a name, 5%. 3, pick a racing class, 50%. And 4, write a 32-page backstory, 13%. Right?
How many was that? 50? I wonder how many of those were snarky responses.
Snarky, I think I had to be, right? But Trollord Games replied to it, and it says, world build for about 6 months and present the finished stock to the CK, Castle Keeper, to DM, and tell him how my character's life will proceed. I'm like, that's this book. Right there is this book. No, and because the whole throws you for write world build for 6 months and give it to the GM, right? Because that's essentially what they're having you do here, is collaborate on the whole fucking world and everything in it.
Well, Joe, you know what you should do with that book? You hate it so much, you should just offer it as a giveaway.
I've written in it.
He's written in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
you can sign it and give it away.
What's your favorite? Yeah, what's your favorite thing though when you find old modules or old books?
Like the old stuff, written notes and little papers and all that kind of shit. So maybe I will.
So it's a little artifact.
But there
It
is
should
another
just-
book in this series, guys, that has more meat to pick apart called Proactive Role Playing. There's like a
Mhm.
9-book series of shit here. I can't believe somebody paid them for fucking 9 fucking
Well,
books.
the
for
rest
this.
of them are like tables and
Yeah,
entry
yeah,
stuff. They're not
yeah.
all like this advice. There's
Yes,
another
kind of
one coming
stuff.
out later this year. Was it? Is it deities and it's not. It's I think it's about gods. I think they're coming
Okay.
out with
All right.
next.
Oh, all right.
I
But we're
think
going to
so.
talk about this one next, guys. All right. We're going to
Yep.
break this book down. There's 3 sections to the
3.
book. It's about
Yeah.
250 pages ish. So we'll break down each chapter of this book for you. The first one is creating proactive characters. Next one is creating proactive world, and then is running a proactive game. All right. And a lot of these proactive principles go behind what you're getting in this book. So I think it'll be interesting to break it down because we sort of jumped into the brown book without getting into the green book, and I think we're going to learn a little bit more in there. And I think there's some
I think
stuff
so,
you can take away from it. I skimmed through it, and I think there's some stuff we could take away that might be good. But we'll
Yeah, it's a
dissect
different
it all.
take on
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's a
I
very
think so, too.
yeah. It's a very different take for a different group of people. We were talking about it between recordings of this video and the last video a little bit about it. I think there's a lot of meat we could get into here. So we'll have a good discussion on that next time, guys. So again, we're going to get these videos from us. All right. This is the Game Masters Academy, how to be a better game master, basically, right? From 3 veterans. We've all been at least 40 years in the game, right? I think doing this. So well over 120 years here doing this stuff. So we learn a few things and we'll figure out, share the information and make you all better game masters, and hopefully we'll entertain you along the way. So thank you for watching this long, and please subscribe, and please click on that little subscribe button. You'll see everybody's channel. Subscribe to everybody. We all have good videos on all kinds of other topics too.
Yep.
So all right. Anything else, guys, before we
Well,
good?
like, subscribe, do all that stuff.
Yeah,
What's
the
other
best
things?
way-
Share.
Yeah, the best way to learn how to run a game is run a game.
Yeah.
Consult your DMG and pick up some
Do it.
things there, and then just go ahead and run it.
Yep.
And watch
Amen.
these videos.
And watch these videos and share them out to people who will watch them. All right,
Yep.
guys. Thank you very much.
See you
Hey,
guys.
everybody. Hey, you remember to say goodbye this time. Good job, Paul.